Yes, we are here at Friday Producers Club. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm excited about today's guest. Being a preacher, licensed in 1986. He's been a pastor, amen to that, since 1997. Church newspaper publisher. That's the first I heard about that. That's amazing. A realtor license in 2005. Going 20 years, closed, listen to this, 15 deals, 15 transactions he closed at his first 6 months with KW. That's special. He was a team leader, I remember that, at the KW Inglewood between 2017-19. I think it was the best 2 years of that office. He's a California Realty training instructor. He's teaching and training people to get their license, to be licensed realtors since 2017. And he's a podcast company owner, and he's a marketing company owner, coach, mentor. He's the owner of Fred Howard Real Estate Team. And I would say he's my friend as well. So Fred Howard, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Meny. I mean, after all of that last statement, being called your friend, I really appreciate that. So, hey.
It's 100% mutual. The honor is mine, man, to just have you here and be part of the tribe. I remember when first heard of you, again, when you used to be in the leadership position back then. It was you had and still have a really good name, good reputation, right? You have this like steady thing about you, how you deliver, how you cater, how you care about people. Tell us about that.
Well, I think it's in my genes, it's and it started off again when I first started with KW. I believed in the instance that I was not a salesperson, but then I had to take a step back and say, everything I do is sales. Everything I do, I'm trying to get people or trying to help people recognize something that they needed. And my first year in real estate, I was with MAPS Coaching, and I felt that because I was pastoring, I couldn't market to my membership. And my coach said, well, you have to talk to somebody in order to make it in this business. And so I chose the route of distressed properties. And basically my passion was to help people. So I learned the process, tried to get face-to-face with people to help them through their process of foreclosure. Some didn't listen, and it ended up in foreclosure anyway. But the ones that did, we were able to help them, still in relationship with them, so that they could be able to have a better life after foreclosure. And that's what actually did it for me. And in the niche of distress marketing, I also had some retail sales because, they saw what was going on in my business.
How did you, what made you get your license to begin with?
Wow, that's a story in itself. Now, this is going to blow some people away. I didn't put this on there, but when I got out of high school, I started working for the VA, and I worked for the VA until 1989, a month after my first son was born, and I was doing hair. I started doing hair. I got my license as a cosmetologist.
Wow.
And I quit when my son was a month old to go into hair full time. I went from doing hair to owning my own salon. And then from there, I did hair for 17 years. In the 17 year, I was like, I'm tired of standing up. I don't want to do this. Let me go get a job. And so I literally went to a place, South Bay One Stop, and I said, I'm looking for a job. And there was something for United Airlines, and I took the test, and on my way home, they called me and said, you got the job, start training next week. So I started doing that. And so I worked for the airlines, and then many of you know 911 happened, and I was working in cargo. I was a supervisor in the cargo division, and 911 happened, and the airports were silent. And
Mhm.
so I got my pink slip because they had to let people go. And so I went to school for ministry at Fuller Seminary. And then they called us back. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let anybody else fire me again. So I went to get my license. I was still working 10 at night to 6 in the morning. I was doing class from 7 to 9, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then going to work from 10 to 6. I got my license. Once I got my license, I worked at the airlines maybe another 2 months, and I said, forget this, I'm going to go. Well, I worked there until one of the agents said, when are you going to stop using your job as a crutch? And
Mm.
so there you go. Um, I have not looked back, and that's basically what happened. My first 6 months, I was literally working at the airport from 10 at night to 6 in the morning. I would sleep from 7 to 12, and I was in the office from 1 to 5, and I rinsed and repeated. And that was just real estate and airport. I also had the pastoral duties of Bible study and church services on Sunday.
You see, thank you for sharing that. That's very inspiring, and now it makes even more sense why you are who you are today. Um, do you think that um, this options you had back then, and this person told you, hey, stop using this as an excuse or what have you, it what drove you to kind of take that jump into full-time real estate? Because it's a big jump.
Yeah, it was a big jump. It was a big jump because of one, what happened with 911. It was a big jump because, I was the social provider in my home. And
Mhm.
so it changed my mindset. It said, okay, I tell people that first commission check will change your mindset on what real estate is all about and give you the ability to know what you can do in this business. Because it was basically that saying, man, my job is a crutch. I'm using that as a crutch. And I will tell anybody today, do what you can to support your family. Don't just quit your job, blindsided. You have to have a plan to make it
Mhm.
work. One thing that happens is when you need something, you'll always find a way to get it. When you're broke and you need to pay a bill, you'll find a way to get it. And so that's the same with real estate. You have to find a way to get it because either you're going to get what you need in this business if you really want it deep down inside.
Amen to that, Pastor. So then you went and sold 15 homes, right, in a few months' time. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Well, that was an interesting. I got some people mad at me. I mean, there was an agent that held down Harbor City, and I got one foreclosure deal in Harbor City that turned into
Mm.
um, 4 deals retail. And the interesting story about this, and I always tell this story, the foreclosure that I had, and this gives you an insight about how you help people and know your niche. And so this was a LA police officer detective whose house was in foreclosure. My process, Meny, was all I was doing was sending 6 letters. Every 14 days, I was sending 6 letters. And one night I was in my office and I was just about to close the door. It was about 7 o'clock in the evening and someone called and I picked up the phone and he said, I'm in foreclosure. I need your help. And I said, when do you want me to sit down and talk with you? He said, tonight. I went right over there. He had about, I would say, a $50,000 worth of equity in his property. And so we listed his property, and make a short story long or a long story short, we listed his property. By the time we listed his property, he was ready to go, but somebody talked him into saying that he didn't need that they'll buy it. End result was by the end of his transaction, I was paid in commission more than he was paid in his ability to earn from his property. But that property in Harbor City turned around to 4 different other properties in the neighborhood. And so And even in that, I still have a client from that circle that still calls me brother, and we still love on each other. And so that is why you need to know your niche, because you need to know your niche, be comfortable in your niche, and know everything you can about your niche so that you can move forward with positivity in helping others, because it's not just about that commission check. It's about what are you going to do to help others.
I love that. It's brilliant. Yesterday, call in the 8 o'clock producers mindset, we spoke about the art of closing a deal, and one of the elements was positivity, right? Because people look for that positivity. And I do have a question about that. But before that, just one note to make. You mentioned you used to send 6 letters every 14 days to homeowners or to distressed property. Like, what was the crowd?
So the crowd was only distressed properties. So I used, at that time was called Foreclosure Radar. Now it's called Property Radar. And I pulled the foreclosure list. I chose the ones that I was going to send letters to. And at that time I was using a CRM called Top Producer. And it literally notified me when a letter was supposed to go out. And all I would do is buy the postage and send it. It was pretty much blind. I just had a technique of, I know that I need to send 6 letters. I only got up to probably letter number 3 or 4 before either somebody said, take me off your list, I've got it taken care of, or come help me.
Right. Well, I mean, predictable options, right? So what are you preaching here is basically consistency.
Consistency,
Right?
correct.
Because
correct.
real estate, the real estate is very it's a science. There's a pattern, there's some basic things. How where is this discipline of yours come from originally? I mean, because it doesn't come natural to most people.
No, it doesn't come from me either. No. It comes from training. What I was doing, and I think what happened in the beginning, because I was so focused on making sure that my family was taken care of, that my schedule from 1 to 5 was really to dig in to get it, because I wanted to get off my job. So I knew I had to do a certain amount in order to get off of my job. And so the drive to do it was basically because, I'm not going to say I'm working on that word that you never knew about. It's called procrastination, and it's amazing. And I use that, what you say, because you said from where you're from, procrastination doesn't exist. So you had no mindset of it. And so I'm trying to get myself out of the mindset of even knowing what the word means, because even though you can get the job done, it'll be better if you get it done before you need to get it done.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I love that. A few things that you said for sure, and then it is a skill. You have to keep working on that and nourishing that, and you're a fine example of, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy guy or a busy person. Right? Because you have very specific time to do it, and you have to make it work. Earlier you mentioned, look, if I have to go back, and I mean, maybe you can share today, what is it that you're doing today in the sense of farming, right? Because we don't really have that market anymore of distressed properties as we used to. But if you had to recreate, or maybe you want to share whatever it is that you're doing today, but the same strategy, 6 letters every 14 days, distress, how would that apply today?
Well, right now, as you know, just like you just said, the market is different in regards to foreclosures because of the difference in what was happening back then and what's happening now. Right now, I am going back to the letters, but I'm retooling the message. The morning mindset that we had with Zach a couple of days ago, helped me focus on that message, saying, hey, you have equity in your property. What can I do to help? The key here now is, and this is what I told our productivity class on Wednesday, You need to be very focused on doing video. You have to get out there. Social media is there for you. You do not have the luxury of ignoring social media. You do not have the luxury of ignoring what's already out there. There is things that you have to understand what happened even with ChatGPT. ChatGPT had millions of subscribers within the first month. Threads is now on top of ChatGPT in regards to the number of subscribers when it first came out. So you want to make sure you don't have to talk a lot. You can just say, hey, this is Fred with Keller Williams South Bay. If you need anything in regards to real estate, go ahead and contact me. DM me right down below. It's as simple as that because it lives on the internet, and so you can take one of the best godsends that we have with KW is KW gives you your own YouTube channel. No one has utilized that. You have your own YouTube channel attached to your email. So now just start your 1 minute videos. Find something that's on the blog that's already given you, put it in ChatGPT, retool it so that it sounds like you, and just talk about it and leave it alone. But at the end of the conversation, always say, hey, this is your realtor. If you have any questions, go ahead and DM me below. It works.
The cool thing about what you said, and people will pick it up now, whoever's going to watch the recordings later, is your message is stay current, right? Stay current because, some things don't change. A letter is a letter, door knock is a door knock, a phone call is a phone call, but maybe the way that you deliver it, not maybe, the way that we deliver things did change, the efficiency or what have you, or the exposure, right? Tell us about your upcoming or new listing and how you got it, talking about social media.
Awesome. Well, I challenged the morning mindset one morning. We were right here at 8 o'clock on a morning mindset. And I said, listen, everybody, I want you to go out and do a video on your way to work, do a video, and you don't have to talk about anything. Just let people know that you're there. Where I was driving to work and I was talking, people were questioning and about the business. People were asking about probate, and of course that's distress. So I had some answers for that. And so by the end of the broadcast, I said, well, if you have any more information, if you need any information, let me know. And so a week later, I came home from class. It was on a Thursday, so I got home pretty late. It was about 9:30, and I got an email from my command site, and it literally just said, I have a house in Los Angeles and I need to sell it. And so let me tell you something, whenever anybody tells you that, your adrenaline starts running. It just starts doing loops. And so it was 10 o'clock at night. I couldn't call, I couldn't text. So what I did was I put an email together and I said, I received your message. I'll contact you in the morning. And so that morning on my way to work, right before I left, I sent an email and first I called and nobody answered. And then I sent the email and I said, I just tried calling, let me know when you're available. So I'm on my way to work. When I get to work, from Hawthorne to the office, that's when she called. And we started talking about her property and what she needed done and everything. And by the end of the conversation, I was about to ask her, where did you find my information from? And she said, oh, I saw your drive to work video and I decided to reach out and talk with you. And so since then, she had to get her property ready because her mom passed. That was her mom property. We helped her through getting things out of the property and cleaning up the property, giving suggestions for property cleanup. We took the listing for $690,000, a 7% listing, 4% to the selling agent. Wow. We made it live on Friday. Saturday, we had an open house. Sunday, we had an open house. and we had an offer for $729 with $10,000 over appraised value if it does not appraise at the 7. Now, mind you, I knew my numbers because I told her your property is going to sell anywhere between 710 and 730. The problem was next door, there was a property that was for sale for 535. Her property is 1,200. That property is 900 square feet. It was on the market for 535, but you got to know your market again. It's sold. I told her, listen, this property was owned by an investor 10 years. They rented it for 10 years and now they're just offloading it. And so it ended up selling for 650. However, it was still a value because our property was bigger, it was larger, and that was a complete fixer. And so now we're in escrow, 729, 45-day escrow, 10,000 above whatever the appraised value up to 729. So unless it's appraised at 650, the seller is still a winner. Even if it appraises at 700, the seller is still a winner. So, and
Yeah,
that was all from a video.
Yeah, and that's the point that we want to make. How many years did she own this property, or the family?
They've been in the property for 60 years.
60 years, right? So it took 60 years for them to wait for Fred to go on Facebook Live and do his little spiel, and then, hey, I want to talk to you, right?
Exactly. Took 60 years,
Who else is waiting for you guys out there just to see your face, hear your voice, and say, I want to talk to her, I want to talk to him, right? Just pick up the phone and do what you need to do. That's amazing. See, this is very inspiring. Yeah, Fred, what is your day week looks like in when it comes to time management? Because that's a skill by itself, and you have a lot of things going for you. Between, again, you're running the entire mentorship program for the South Bay office, which is the biggest and the busiest office in the entire South Bay. You run your own real estate practice, as I mentioned earlier. You're doing your podcasts. You're doing real estate training for new pre-licensees, right? And you have your own other public duties as a pastor, etc. And you have family as well. So how do you juggle all of this?
Leverage. I know, you'll find me in the office from 7 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I usually come in later because I'm there until 9:30. On Fridays, I'm in or out because that is I call my free day if I have any free time. Mondays, I'm usually doing ministry work. So I'm usually not in the office, but I'm still doing real estate business when there is free time. And so it's basically leverage and leveraging the things that are around me and making sure that, again, listen, I'm not the perfect one. I still need help. I'm still working on getting someone to work alongside me so that we can be more, I would say, focused on the business at hand that needs to happen. But it really comes down to consistency. It really comes down to, how your mind works. Now, believe you me, if we're having a conversation in the office, my mind is always thinking, man, can I make a podcast out of this? And then I may say, hey, listen, why don't you come into my office? Let's do a podcast real quick. Guess what? You don't have to be prepared. I will do what Meny's doing to you right here. And I have some cards that I can look at, ask you a question, because that's the best way to do it. So be prepared. If you're walking through the office and I'm picking your brain, I may say, come in and do a podcast with me. Hey, it's only 15 minutes, 15 minutes is great. And we'll tag you. So.
And it's so awesome. Excuse me. It's so awesome, by the way. And I've actually watched the last one with the man himself, Simon Cazares. And that was like,
yes.
I just shared the link, by the way, if you have Spotify. I think it's in multiple whatever platforms.
Yes.
I did it on Spotify. Also, you guys need to subscribe to this one because it's pretty awesome. You said leverage, and what came to mind is the MREA book, right? Gary Keller's and Jay Papasan MREA book, the 3 L's: leads,
Mhm.
listings,
Listings
leverage,
and leverage.
right?
I always talk about buyers because I've learned not to put buyers down because, you know, working with the system that I work with NACA, it really gave me a big, bold launch into buyers. However, listings is what I focus on. I want listings. I want listings. I was telling our class yesterday, why are listings important? I listed a property on Friday. It's in escrow on Monday, 45 days, we're closing. A buyer, you get the buyer, you qualify the buyer, you look for the buyer, and then you make an offer, and then your 30 or 45 days begins. So, and Meny, let me tell you, that first 6 months, 98% of the deals that I closed were listings.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. You know, the ratio also based on the MREA, right, is 2 to 1, right? From every one listing, you are to get one more listing and 2 buyers. So those are 4 deals. And that's the story that you shared at the very beginning from that, you know, you helping the veteran to, or the peace officer to sell their property. You had the, you know, few more deals coming out of that. So there you go. Right. Hey, when you follow a plan, you know, and you're consistent, and that's totally you, Fred. Like you have that patience, right? But it's just like, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna hope it's gonna happen one day. You also execute on a daily basis, right?
Yes, yes.
Quantum leap, those powerful baby steps, small steps.
Every day has to be something done unless it is your day of rest. You know, I often ask my mentees, can you recognize your unused time, your wasted time? And if you took the next 24 hours, just the next 24 hours, and itemize what you did every 30 minutes, you will surprise yourself on how much time you've wasted, not on purpose, but you wasted it just because there was no focus, there was no plan. And so that's the key. Make a plan, focus on it, and do it. And I know Annalisa was asking whether or not we would do a class on training in this niche. And the answer is absolutely yes. But I'm being smart about it. I'm actually recording it so it'll be a webinar so that you can access it and be able to reverse, you know, and do all of that.
Yeah, and once you do have it, let us know, and we're definitely gonna push it out there and share with all of our beautiful people. One last question for you. You mentioned downtime, right? And your Sabbath, your relaxation time, whatever. How does that look like? What's Fred's downtime or me time looks like?
Well, my wife would tell you I don't have any downtime. She'll tell you I need to slow down, I need to stop. Now, one of my deacons notices this. So every Thursday, I'm usually Thursday after class, I'm usually in a movie theater from 10 at night until 1 in the morning because he takes me to the first run movies. But other than that, it's hard to keep my mind still. My downtime literally is, now don't judge me, my downtime is literally in a restaurant with some food and some vibration, you know, some drinks, you know. That's my downtime, and usually that's done once a week. So it's in a restaurant. And even in the restaurant, I'm talking to the waiters and the waitresses saying, "Hey, are you interested in a in a in a in a business like real estate? Are you interested in taking the class?" You know, so it's hard to define my downtime.
Yeah, it sounds like you know, it's a lifestyle for you, right, Fred? This is who you are, and this is this is what you do, and that's your life mission.
Yes. And I tell people, anything you need, if you need it, this is the one thing that, and I hope everybody listens. I never want to hear, I know you're busy, but can you help me? I don't want to hear, I know you're busy. If I'm too busy to help you, I'm going to say, hold on. But if you say, can I see you? And I'm available, guess what? I am there for you. You know, that is what I'm there for. You know, I am the colloquial ride or die KW agent. I don't understand why anybody else is with any place else, but that's just me. But I don't push that on everybody. So
yeah. Well said, preacher. Whose house is this?
This is our house. I'm really in my house, but we're in our house.
Our house. Frederick Howard, it was a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for sharing what's up here and what's inside here as well. So you're the best. Much appreciated.
And I want to thank all of you. I do see your comments. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you, Jess. All of you guys. Thank you guys for coming in and listening to an old gray guy like me. Hopefully you guys got something. And if you need anything, please just let me know.
Yeah, Fred Howard. You're the best.
Thanks, Fred. You're awesome.
Thank you, Shireen. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Have a powerful, productive Friday.
Awesome.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Meny.
All right. Bye-bye.